Hi everyone, welcome to Eye of the Crown. And in this video, we're going to discuss what is the North Node. Well, we use all these different astrological terms, and I'm sure it can be very confusing to keep up with everything. But the North Node is one of the most important placements in your chart. The North Node is connected to your spiritual mission, and it's a deep internal need because it's connected to the moon. When we look at the North Node, we have to consider the North and the South Node. They both are the points of the moon. This is why the North Node has so much weight in it, because even though it's not a planet, it's connected to the moon, which is considered either a planet or a satellite, depending on how you ask. In our natal charts, the moon is connected to our emotional, internal, nourishing needs. And the North Node is an expression of that soul's desire, internal desire, in what direction to take in life. The North Node is a part of your blueprint when it comes to your natal chart because it tells you where to point in life. Where must you go in life? And because of this, you are quite often people find themselves stuck in life, doors closing. You know what I'm saying? Like things are just not working out. And quite often people react to doors closing, failures in an overt way where they don't see the clarity. But the true clarity that comes is knowing that you are always moving forward, that the direction in life is always moving forward. And that's what that North Node helps you to do. Now, the reason that you may find yourself stuck in life very often or not experiencing the opportunities open up to you is more than likely because you are in your South Node. So when we look at the North Node compared to the North Node is the direction we take. The South Node is where we are coming from. So the South Node is something that's connected to karmic past lives. It's connected to mastering something in the past life. And so it becomes a comfort zone. Whereas the North Node is a very unfamiliar territory and it pulls you out of your comfort zone. So the South Node is not to be forgotten. It's just that when we bask in the South Node, when we stick to the South Node, this is when we find opportunities and things closing on us because the universe is moving you forward. The universe is taking you, and it will help you to move forward by closing opportunities. So your South Node is always the closing doors on you. They're closing doors on you so you can find new doors with your North Node. And the location of your nodal axis, of your North Node, will show you what doors are closing because the North Node and the South Node are always opposite each other. For example, if you have the North Node in the first house, you quite often are going to be experiencing closing doors in long-term relationships. They don't always have to be romantic. Ones that are just long-term, that are rooted in some sort of devotion, commitment to each other. Though it can also be marriage in certain extreme cases. The North Node in the second house, you'll be finding yourself having people who invest in you. You'll close doors on angel investors, donors, government help, financial aid. You'll have closing doors on that because the North Node in the second house is moving you towards the second house. If you have the North Node in the third house, then you're closing doors on formal education, maybe even certain religious practices. You're closing doors on all of these like higher philosophical types of opportunities because you've done that and it's over. It's boring, it's very preachy, and you're to move towards a third house. If you have the North Node in the fourth house, then more than likely you're closing doors on career opportunities, things that you thought would flourish, the comfort zone of being in the public eye. You're closing doors on that and moving towards the fourth house. If you have the North Node in the fifth house, then you're closing doors on group organizations, group memberships, conventions, social parties that, keep you in status, group parties and group invitations. You're closing doors on those and moving towards your fifth house. If you have the North Node in the sixth house, then you're closing doors on time off. You're closing doors on having breaks. You're closing doors on having rest time. And you're moving towards the sixth house. If you have the North Node in the seventh house, then more than likely you're closing doors on appearances, on impressing people, with your appearance, on showing up all the time and meeting different people. You're closing doors on all of those things and you're moving towards the seventh house. If you have the North Node in the eighth house, then you're closing doors on income sources like job checks, things like that. Any place that had a funnel of income streams towards you, you are closing doors on that. If you have the North Node in the ninth house, then you are closing doors on any sort of communications. This could be texting, writing, things like that. You also may be closing doors on a certain way that you transit, like by car, bus, or train. You might be closing doors on those types of things. You might be closing doors on your local neighborhood, like being around in the neighborhood and moving towards the ninth house. If you have the North Node in the 10th house, then you're closing doors on home life. So you're not anymore focused on what is happening within the home as much as you are moving towards the 10th house. If you have the North Node in the 11th house, then you're closing doors on playtime. You're not enjoying your time as much as you are actually working on how can you make your time more productive? How can you be utilized amongst other people? If you have the North Node in the 12th house, then you're actually closing doors on jobs. Outdated jobs, jobs that are no longer working for you, serving you, helping you feel fulfilled, giving you a sense of vocational direction. You're closing doors on those jobs and moving towards the 12th house. So you'll see that the North Node plays a major role because you need a place to go. You need a direction on which to take when opportunities close down on you. And that is the North Node. I wanted to bring up Ice Spice because she is huge right now, and you can tell through people's charts where their direction is in life and what directions they're going to be taking. So if we look at Ice Spice chart, I'm referring to Ice Spice chart from astrotheme.com. She has the North Node in the 11th house. So she actually has the South Node in her 5th house in the sign of Aquarius. And actually, a lot of her work is going to be moving away from 5th house things. She actually may be seen as a romantic catch, but a lot of that is mastery. And this also shows you that the South Node doesn't go away. It's a foundation for you as you move forward. It's just that if you stay there, if you stay being, so for Ice Spice, if she stays focusing on being, the one to date, the one that everyone wants to catch and date, then she gets a little stuck. When she moves towards her North Node in the 11th house and focuses on her influence and focuses on taking things more seriously, then you see that she is going to continue to have a direction in life and takes her towards those things. Let's look at Beyonce, who has the South Node, according to astrotheme.com. Beyonce has the South Node in her 4th house, the North Node in her 10th house. So what can this tell us? This tells us that she's going to have doors close on her when it comes to being at home all the time, that there's going to be a need for her to pull herself out of the home and into the public eye. And you'll see that there's a pull towards the home. So the home is where she started her strong foundations. This is the mastery that you see within her story, right? But the direction is really to go towards that North Node. What's also interesting is that both Ice Spice and Beyonce have the South Node in Aquarius, which shows that they have to move away from groups. I don't know Ice Spice's history as much, but Beyonce will see that through Destiny's Child, that South Node in Aquarius really shows itself, and then her need to be more singular, going towards Leo, more about shining the light just on me. That's that North Node, and then she's got Mars next to her North Node, so it makes it even more aggressively so. So this shows you guys that the North Node plays a major part in life in helping you find your spiritual mission, which is evoked and provoked when you have failures, opportunities that are closing doors. And instead of overreacting to the manifestation of that door closed, I want you to look at your North Node and take that direction. If you guys want to learn more, check out the resources below. Currently have a workshop in progress that will cover the North Node. You'll get to have personal takes on your North Node and really dive into the various ways you can tackle your north node, build a fortress around your north node, and find opportunities more consistently in life. I mean, when it comes to happiness, there's a formula that I truly like to embody, and it has a lot to do with the moon. The moon's expression, the expression of the part of fortune, and the expression of the north node. These are some three placements that one can actually find contentment when they really understand these placements in their chart. But please, definitely do not ignore your North Node when looking at astrology, when you're looking at astrology at this level, right? Not the people who are just focused on their sun signs. No, the people who are really here to do that work, focus on your North Node. Make sure you understand it. It may take years, but if you do embrace this workshop, it will be a launching pad for you to start honing in on your North Node. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.